Okay, welcome back to the Angel Baby Show. I just had a very eye-opening interview with Dr. Joan Ifland. Please make sure to watch it if you can. Just to kind of debrief on what she just said, she basically compared sugar to being as highly addictive as some drugs. And tobacco companies in the 1950s switched from selling cigarettes to selling candy and kid stores because it was like the same strategy of like drawing on people's addictions. And I personally can totally relate because I have the biggest sweet tooth ever. And whenever I have a lot of sugar, I kind of wake up the next day and want some more sugar. So I'm definitely like kind of concerned with my
Yeah,
past habits. And
literally. I
yeah.
listening to that, I like was thinking about how I was in high school. And I remember in high school there was these cookies. I was actually just thinking about them the other night because I was craving them like a drug. And the cookies were like the size of my face. And I would eat them every single day. Like literally every single day. And everyone knew that like I was obsessed with the cookies and I was like literally I would crave them.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still crave them to this day. So I fully believe everything that she
Yeah.
was
No, it is so true. And like I personally find myself, and this is so bad, but like more tempted instead of having like a full meal, like I just really want the dessert. Like I really want the
saying.
dessert at
Right.
the end. So like
Yeah.
don't like listen to
Yeah.
me, but
No,
I'm it's very fascinating how like um sweet tooths, and I'm jealous of people that just don't like sweets.
I
They're like, "Oh,
know.
I've just never really been
I
into them." I'm
know.
like, "I'm sorry, you don't want this donut?" Like, but
Oh, I'm
yeah.
so envious of those type of people, and I don't know, people like, it's almost cute saying that you have a sweet tooth, but then it's just like, it's not, like, it's just I don't know, it's just not cute. But, anyway, we will take a lot from her going off to college. Speaking of going off to college, we have so much to do,
We have
so much
so
packing to
much
do,
to do.
and it's not okay,
I'm
but
not ready at all.
yeah, but this is Elise has done this a couple more times than I have. So Elise, I don't know, is there any like packing tips that
You
you
know,
have for people?
I like this is coming from someone, and I think this is just how we were kind of raised and how our family was. When I first went to college, I like worked my last day at home at a restaurant, and then mom and I like Monday, I had to move in on Tuesday. It was like Monday at like 7 p.m. Went to Home Goods and we were like, okay, we need hangers, we need laundry baskets, like just things that I don't know what I was thinking. I just didn't do anything. And that was kind of fun, like I think there's nothing wrong with last minute packing. I think sometimes you're more decisive and you just kind of get what you need at the last minute. But some things that I've taken over time, I would say it depends on your school and kind of knowing a little bit about what your drawers you're given, if you have a desk, how much space you have. I really liked bringing, and this is for people that, let's say you live driving distance from home, or even if you're in college and friends want to take trips, if you get like a big kind of weekend duffel bag, that's really nice because for me, if I went on any trip or anything, I could kind of use the duffel bag. IKEA bags are really trendy on TikTok because they're super flexible and they can fit tons of clothes. I've also seen people use trash bags to kind of, because when you're packing, one of the hardest things to pack are your clothes because you have your hangers and anything you're going to need for the whole school year. And so the trash bag technique, it's hard to describe over audio, but you kind of put a trash bag over the hangers and then you can kind of hold it and it's super flexible and it fits a ton of things. Very similar to the IKEA bags. Make a list, or if you're lazy like me, just go find a list online. Um, uh, try to think. You'll need towels,
Yeah.
laundry detergent. You'll need
I
laundry
know.
detergent. What are some things, Ava, that you forgot when you first went to school?
This is so funny, but when I first moved into Berkeley, which I'm not at Berkeley anymore, but when I first moved there, I forgot pillows to my bed. And so my mom, this is actually so funny. My
I got the pillows for
Oh
you.
no, Elise and my mom stole the pillows from the hotel room that they were staying at.
Sorry, this is so
And
funny.
I was sleeping on hotel room pillows for for the rest of the semester.
That's kind of,
Um,
aren't those nice though? Like,
Not really. Okay,
oh,
this is like, I don't know. I almost There's like something to this. The like first like couple of nights with the hotel pillows, you're like, oh my gosh, so nice, like so comfy. It's almost like you're staying like a couple nights at a hotel room. But then after that, I was like, these are like, I don't know, they like deflated. Like, I don't know. They just
yeah,
like didn't last very long. So I almost think that they have like a short-lived like
yeah.
life expectancy. But yeah, no, that was something I forgot. It was so funny. My roommates were like, "Where are your pillows?" I was like, "I forgot my pillows." Um, but yeah, no, it's like it's little things like that, like hangers. It's like you
Yeah.
don't think of like bringing hangers, but it's
Things
just I
that
don't know. It's so
I
random.
one thing that I got my junior year that I loved was a mini vacuum.
Oh
That was
yeah.
something I didn't have my sophomore year, and I got it my junior year, and a mini vacuum was just really nice because any little corner, I put it on my clothes sometimes. Like, I loved the mini vacuum. Um, I had oh yeah, so for another thing with like shopping and packing is you do want to pack not a ton of stuff. You're not going to have a ton of room. And you have to be kind of realistic with yourself. Like, what are things I'm actually going to wear in college? Like if you have some formal dress that you wear to church with your family, like you probably don't need to bring that. Um or another thing, and this is like where I am really bad at, is like in college, you're going to have a lot of themed parties, like alien themed or safari themed. And I remember thinking like I would have like a random shirt that I'm never going to wear and it doesn't go with anything in my closet and it's something I haven't touched, but I would think, oh, well, if there's ever a luau party, like I should bring this. And I think that like that's kind of up to you and how much you love the shirt, but like be realistic with what am I going to wear? What's taking up too much space? A good go-to for like cleaning out your closet is telling yourself, okay, um, you look at a shirt or you look at an item of clothing and you tell yourself, have I worn this in a year? And if you haven't worn it in a year, unless it's just something that like you're gonna need, like a suit, but you haven't worn it in a year, maybe consider getting rid of it. Because I think, you know, there is
Yeah.
something to be said about just like a shirt that doesn't really go with anything or you
Yeah.
don't find use for
Yeah,
it.
I think if you're like blessed with, the ability to have a lot of clothes and, you know, unlike others in life, like that's a good opportunity even if you aren't rich but you have a lot of hand-me-downs, have a lot of clothes. It's a good opportunity to donate and give clothes that you don't wear anymore, especially if you just bought a new shirt. Try and find a shirt that you haven't worn in a year and
Yeah.
give that back. Just good karma. But yeah, I mean, I'm just not looking forward to going back to school. I'm like looking at my textbooks I need for economics and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I haven't done math in a year. I'm just not mentally prepared. um but Elise, do you have any goals for the semester? They can be small, they can be big, or maybe just a mindset that you're trying to put yourself in before school and before life starts up again.
Well, we were kind of talking about this last night because I have a really hard time saying no to things and projects. And junior year, I was really overbooked with things that frankly did not really help me in life. Like, I'm the kind of person to say yes to any opportunity because I'm scared of not having anything come in the future. And I love to work. I love to be busy. I like addicted to it. And so I kind of did that to myself junior year. And it was really hard. Like, it was harder for me to write essays. It was harder for me to do my homework. I just didn't get as much done. And I felt like everything I was doing, I didn't do it with a lot of quality. So my goal senior year is to do less, but do those things very well and really focus on what I care about and what matters to me. Because like I got asked for my internships if I wanted to extend them in the fall. And I really, really wanted to do that because I love to do them and I want to do them. And I just had to be realistic with myself. I was like, am I going to write a good senior thesis if I'm driving to LA to do that once a week? And am I going to be a good intern if I'm there, and I think it's really hard, but that was kind of something I was struggling with. And that's kind of just entertainment in general, because there's so many different things you could do to get yourself out there, and you kind of just have to take a risk sometimes and just trust your gut and know, okay, if I do this, I'm going to be really drained, and then I'm not going to go audition for acting gigs or etc.
Yeah.
So my goal, I guess, sorry, that was so long. My goal is to just protect my peace. Sorry, that's like my motto.
Our motto.
That motto. Just do quality over quantity. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Sorry. But
No, yeah, no. It was so funny last night. Elise was like trying to get our opinions about what she should take on and what she shouldn't. She's going down this list of like heavy duty things that she's like planning on doing. And my mom and I are like, Elise, like, are you okay? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, don't do any of those things. That like, my mom literally at the end of it, she was like, I think honestly, you should just quit all of it and just have a fun senior year, because you're gonna have to work for the rest of your life. Which is honestly good advice. So I think Elise's is to chill out. But yeah,
What? Okay, so tell me your goals this year, because
yeah. I kind of have like a different goal than, I feel like I'm all over the place I just change my mind all the time. But I want to get back into dancing. And I was a competitive dancer in high school, and we're going to talk about that in the outro. But I was a competitive dancer and I'm getting back into dancing. And that is going to be on top of school and work and clubs and everything like that. So being really committed to it, I think I really want to dance like for myself rather than for, somebody else. And it really brings me joy. So I'm excited to talk about that in the next segment. But yeah, that was kind of our long-winded packing, and then also at the beginning the interview with the eating your feelings. But yeah, no, just kind of mental health, everything like that, getting back into the swing of things, because things are about to get really busy for anyone that actually got a summer break. Some people don't, but anyone that got it knows that it's about to come right back at you. So we will see you in just a few minutes. Come back. I'm going to talk about dance. Elise is going to talk about acting. And yeah, it's just going to be a great episode. So we'll see you in just a bit. This is the Angel Baby Show. I'm Ava Lynn.
And I'm Elise.
And we'll see you in a second.
Good segment. Okay, you got another 15.
Okay.
You want? I'm really excited to talk about your dance. So should we do it last? Save the dance for last? Or do you want to do dance first?
Whatever you want.
Let me see what topics you haven't hit on.
Maybe you're acting, Elise, first. Yeah.
Because I don't want to talk to. Mine's probably not going to be as long.
You know what? Okay, you know what you could do? Why don't we flip them? Why don't you do a longer goodbye and a shorter in between right now? You talk about acting if you don't have a lot of time to talk. We had the segment could be 8 minutes, but if you don't use all the time and you're ready to go, just go to break. And then I'll tell you what you have left over for the end.
Okay.
So we're talking about Elise. This is Elise's segment, and then we're breaking, and then we're doing my segment, and then and then the thank yous and goodbye in the same one.
Yeah. Do you want me to get you? Do you feel like thanking your top listeners or your top countries again, and you're mentioning your number one thank you, or
that'd be fun.
Thank you, general thank you.
Yeah.
I'll get you the numbers, and if you want to use them, go ahead. I'll put them in the chat. Okay. Go when ready. Do you want me to count you down to an 8-minute mark, Elise, or do you want to just go when you're finished?
I really like when you put the minutes in, just because sometimes you ramble.
Okay. All right. I'm going off.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Angel Baby Show. I'm Elise. Ava and I just had a really interesting back to school shopping guide, talked a little bit about our goals for the next year and how things are going to get a lot busier, which will keep you guys in tune with what we're up to, what we're doing. I'm really excited for the next segment because Ava is going to talk about dance and how one of her biggest goals for next year is to just kind of go back into dancing. Ava used to be a competitive dancer and was amazing, and I loved watching her. So I'm so excited to hear this. But before we get into that, I was just going to give and kind of talk a little bit about an acting tip that I have heard a lot recently. And so, as everyone knows, with the 2 strikes going on, the industry has really slowed down. My internship and everything, it was just really fascinating to see how so little was being put out there right now. And it is kind of a weird time. So a lot of people were saying, like, during the summer, just really like maybe take a break, research things, read about it, study acting, but so I kind of look at the fall as hopefully going at it more. And there's a whole list of things that you could possibly do to kind of go after acting. And so I think that giving myself the semester of kind of to-do lists and, okay, on Monday, you're going to do this. So that being said, this summer, I've really just been kind of watching videos and researching how to get an agent, how to get this. And I wanted to share one that I learned today. And this kind of goes for music. This goes for really any type of career that has something to do with like your image. Is something that I never, ever really thought about with acting. And it's actually super important, is branding and creating your own brand. And this I'm sure Ava heard this a lot, like at The Voice and something. But for actors, especially when you're starting out, because I mean, there's actors like Christian Bale and people that just completely transform into different people, and that's fantastic and phenomenal. But I think when you're initially starting out, your job is to be as accessible and easy to an agent as possible. And you want people to remember you, and you want to be picked, you want to be chosen for the role. And so being as distinctive as you can as a person and as original as you can be is one of the best ways to stand out amongst the thousands and millions of other actors out there. So there is really something to be said about kind of knowing like your type in a role. And I think that this is a bit like, there's 2 sides to this, because I think an actor's job is to play someone else, and that's the beauty of acting. But I think that initially when you're starting out, and I'll kind of explain why, when you're initially just trying to make it as an actor and you don't have an agent, you don't have any connections, you're going to want to go onto Actors Access or Backstage. And these are self-submitting places that you can go and submit yourself to auditions. And this is a great gateway to kind of potentially get an agent, which is something I talked about on one of our previous episodes. And when you audition for these roles, you get to pick which ones you want to submit your headshot for. And you have to be kind of decisive about, okay, there's going to be probably thousands and thousands of auditions being submitted every day. Some of them are scams, some of them aren't real. You have to be careful and do your research. But they'll say, okay, I need a bubbly young girl, or I need a smart, sophisticated doctor, and I need a macho man, or I need, and it's like these personality traits. And I think that one of the biggest keys I got it in anytime I did a theater, anytime I did an acting class, is to ask people around you. And it's kind of cheesy, but like, how do you perceive me? Like, how do I come across? Because like for me, I'm just gonna be honest here. Like one time I did a self-tape for like a superhero thing, and she was like a very strong leader woman, very sophisticated, and like an undercover doctor. And I just like sounded really stupid and like I was making it sound funny even when I'm not. And I think that's kind of where you like know your brand. You're like, okay, maybe like I don't really fit that vibe very well, and when I act that way, it's not very believable. So I should try to stick to roles that kind of suit my personality better. But it obviously, like, a great actor can kind of do anything, so it's very like kind of up to you. But Ava, what do you think about that and like your brand?
Yeah, no, you were saying, I dealt with a similar thing with genre. kind of the branding of yourself when you're a singer, and they're like, okay, well, what do you sing? Like, what's your genre? And I was like, well, I sing everything. I love everything. And people were like, you can't say that. Like, you have to say something.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you definitely do have preferences, and there's a way that you look that fits things more than others. You know, obviously Margot Robbie is, you know, a blonde bombshell, and those are usually the roles that she plays. And they're way different than each other. You know, obviously not saying that a blonde is, you know, the same thing every time, but you know, but then at the same time, she also plays Marie Antoinette. So like,
Yeah.
obviously you can brand yourself and be different things. But I think that was great advice, Elise, for acting and also for music. But yeah,
I think it's kind of coming down to like being true to yourself and being, because the goal of acting is to be as authentic and real as possible when you're performing, and harness like real emotions when you're performing. And so I think that's kind of where the brand, and brands comment, like, you don't have to follow this. It's just an advice that I've been given a lot. And so I thought I would share it with the Angel Babies show. But yeah, that's it for my like acting discussion today. And now I'm super excited to have Ava talk a little bit about dance, and we will be right back.